Hello and welcome to another video. Right, so today I'm going to run the car up to temperature, make sure the fans kick in, bleed the cooling system, make sure everything's working, try and pull the car out and give it a wash as well, see if it will move under its own power, because I've not even tried to move the car yet. All I've done is just briefly run it without any coolant in, so today I'm going to run it through a heat cycle for the first time and try and move the car. Let's see how this goes. Right, I'm just running it up to temperature, just with some water at the moment. Had a little bit of a leak from the thermostat housing, but I've tightened it up and it seems to have stopped leaking now. Yeah, listen to this engine though. Listen to this. I'll give it a little bit more revs now. Yeah, it seems to be warming up nicely now. So the top hose is warm, bottom hose is still cold, so I'm waiting for the thermostat to open. We've got a good sign there, good signs. It was also leaking a little bit from the fan switch, so I've just nipped that up as well, and that's stopped that from leaking. The smoke has disappeared now. It was smoking a little bit, but that's just like the residue, oil residue on the engine, so it stopped smoking now. So yeah, this is the first heat cycle I've actually run into the car. This is the first heat cycle. I've got the battery light on at the moment. I think it's down to the battery because it's an old battery. It is charging. If I give it some revs. It's getting there. The heater's still cold at the moment. The heater's still kicking out cold air. I'm just hoping that's gonna start working in a minute. Probably when the thermostat opens, it should start kicking out some warm air. But yeah, this is the first heat cycle I've put into the car, and the temperature gauge is sitting nicely in the middle. Fuel gauge isn't working though, so I'm gonna have to look at that. Yeah, a few little teething issues as you would expect from a project car. But it is all starting to come together. Right, it all seems to be good. The heaters are actually kicking out warm air now. The fans are kicking in. Temperature gauge is sitting nicely. The battery light is still on though. I think it's because of the battery. I believe it's not a very good battery. There might also be something else going on with the alternator, possibly. We'll have to have a look at that. But yeah, it all seems to be working. Moves backwards and forwards. I feel confident that I can actually drive this car now. There we go, the radiator fans are kicking in. Radiator fans are working, happy days. Heat is still kicking out cold though. Yeah, the heater is still cold. I'm not sure what that's all about. Must have an airlock in it somewhere. I'm gonna have to figure out. Right, I'm just trying to investigate why my fuel gauge isn't working. So a little test you can do, this is a CE1 wiring. So if you put a link between the brown and the purple and black, you can test and see if the fuel gauge is working. When you turn the ignition on, it should go all the way up to maximum. There we go. So that basically proves that the clocks are okay. So my issue is with the sender unit inside the tank. So what I've done is I've removed the sender unit and I've got it on the bench over here. So what I've done, I had it connected up. I had it out of the car and I had it connected up, and I was moving this arm, and intermittently the fuel gauge was working. So the problem is with this. Obviously you've got to make sure the float is still there. This can dissolve and disappear inside the petrol, so you've got to make sure that's still there. But my issue is with this track here, so I'm gonna have to try and see if I can clean this up or do something with it. I think these parts are quite hard to get hold of these days. You can buy the pumps, this is the fuel pump, but this sender unit I think is quite hard to get hold of, so I'm gonna have to come up with a solution for this. Right, so what I'm doing now, I've cleaned up the contacts on the sender, so it's basically those senders there on the float. So I've got it plugged in, and I'm just manually moving the arm to test on the fuel gauge, and it does seem to be working now. So if I move that arm, it should change the reading. So if I go down to there, we should see the fuel gauge move. Yep. If we go to a full tank, just move it right to the top. Hopefully that will move. Oh no. Yeah, so we've definitely still got an issue with that then. Okay. Right, I'm actually going to pull this car out for the first time in 5 years and actually give it a proper wash, because it is absolutely filthy. Obviously my son has been decorating the windows, so yeah, I'm going to pull it out and give it a jet wash. Nice. It's very satisfying, this. Five years of grime. Right, so it's had its first wash, and look how much better this looks now. I've also used some back to black as well on all the plastics. Yeah, looks a lot better. Better. Cleans up well. Here it is back in the garage, all looking clean. Yeah, I'm really happy with the way it's turned out. Considering how dirty it was, it looks absolutely mint now. One thing I'd highly recommend for all you Mark II people out there is this stuff. The Worth plastic dye for all the black plastic. Honestly, this is the best stuff. It's expensive, but it's well worth it. I mean, all the plastics have come out perfect. The back bumper was the worst. That back bumper was absolutely faded to anything now. Look at that. Looks brand new. So yeah, I'd highly recommend that stuff. The Worth plastic dye. Good stuff that is. Right, all I need to do now is drain out the water, put some antifreeze in, change the wheels and get it booked in for an MOT. Right, yeah, I'm dead happy with that. So yeah, things are looking good. All I've got to do now is take it down for an MOT and just hope it drives okay on the road. I've done the alignment by measuring off the wheel. So I've tried to sort of make it as best as you can do, you know, just by yourself in a garage. Brake system seems to be working all right. Handbrake, everything seems to work. All the lights are working, the wipers, etc. So I'm just hoping that it's going to drive okay on the road and pass an MOT. Fingers crossed.